Good afternoon. Welcome to the Spokane City Council briefing session for March 27th. Ms. Farnsworth, if you could please call the roll.
Council President Beggs.
Here.
Councilmember Bingle.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Stratton. Here. Councilmember Zappone.
Here.
Let the record reflect that Councilmember Wilkerson is absent.
All right. And because we were off last week, we get to brief our entire agenda, but I've asked Mr. Perkins if we could advance the airport issues, since we have several of their folks here in the audience.
Thank you, Council President. Johnny Perkins, City Administrator. This is the advance briefing from Monday, March 27. Our first presenter out of the departure gate is Mr. Larry Crowder, the Executive Director of the Spokane International Airport. He will discuss the joint resolution with Spokane County in the matter of authorizing the Spokane Airport Board to sell real property. He will also be discussing the joint resolution with Spokane County in the matter of authorizing the Airport Board to sell additional property within the boundary. Mr. Crowder.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Good afternoon, Council. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to Council President Beggs. He joined us in Washington, D.C. last week to advocate for the airport's federal legislative priorities, particularly around FAA reauthorization. And just wanted to say thank you to Council President Beggs. He did an outstanding job and was a great part of our team on the Hill last week. So thank you, Council President. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So we have a short PowerPoint I'll run through really quick, and happy to answer any questions that you might have. The items are for sale of surplus airport property. We've been to council multiple times over the last few years on that. This particular sale that we're requesting permission for is the third in a series to AT Acquisitions. And this slide points out the prior two sales to AT. We call them McFarlane 1.0, McFarlane 2.0. And creatively, McFarlane 3.0. And they're located here along McFarlane Road near Hayford on property that is surplus to our needs. You can see in this slide, McFarlane 1.0 was developed for a last mile facility for Amazon. McFarlane 2.0 is currently under construction, another warehouse facility, and we expect the same for McFarlane 3.0. And this is just a closer look at the two parcels highlighted there for you in yellow, 10.270 acres for parcel B and 4.196 acres for parcel A. We had the property appraised and it's being sold at fair market value. And the total estimated purchase price is $1,149,961.35. There are a number of additional items on the slide just relative to details of the agreement in terms of the entitlement period and non-refundable escrows for extensions that may be granted from time to time if needed. There's no broker involved in the transaction. We will retain an access easement through this property, which we did in the sale that Council previously approved, the McFarlane 2.0 sale, to make sure that we maintain access to the rest of the airport property located to the south of the areas that we are proposing Council approve for us to sell. Any questions on McFarlane AT Acquisitions?
And this is, we're selling to Amazon is what's happening there for
Well,
basically...
I can't say that that's absolutely true,
Okay.
Councilman Bingle. I would just say that the uses in the area are all very similar to that type of a use. So we don't know if that would be the end user at this point. But the products are very similar.
Gotcha. So who are we selling to then?
In this case, this is AT Acquisitions.
Okay.
And in this case, it's always been AT. And then AT is the developer, in this case, for the first sale to Amazon for that last mile facility.
Gotcha. And they did that with Lot 2 as well.
Lot 2, I don't know who the end client is.
Gotcha.
Nor do I know who the end client is yet for Lot 3.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Great. You can
Okay.
go on to the next one.
Thank you. Whoops. So this property is located on the opposite side of the airport, is also surplus to our needs. It's located off of Geiger Boulevard. You can see here its location relative to the Geiger interchange. Very good location in terms of the proposed use. In this particular case, the buyer of the property is Peter Rusnak. Peter Rusnak, through King Beverage, bought 20 acres of airport surplus property last year to construct a new distribution facility on. This area is being proposed for sale, and it would be developed into a truck plaza. One of the things we've talked about in the community, in fact, it's a statewide issue, is the lack of availability for tractor-trailer parking. This truck plaza will feature overnight parking for tractor-trailers, which in the airport area is really important because it is developing very rapidly into a transportation and logistics hub, so there is a lot of tractor-trailer activity. So these types of services are very complementary to the types of businesses that are locating in and around the airport area. You can see we're processing a boundary line adjustment with the City of Spokane for that property. Here's a proposed layout. You can see that there are truck wash facilities, a convenience store, overnight parking, electric vehicle hookups, things of that nature. Very forward-focused development ultimately. It's a little bit better rendition in this colorized layout. The details, it's just under 12 acres. The FAA, we are in the process of going through what we call a land release, so that releases all of the federal obligations on the property. That process is well underway. We've received the earnest money subject to approval of the agreement. The purchase price will be $2,468,194.98. There are review periods that can be extended for payment of fees, just like the last sale. And in this case, there was a broker involved, and the brokerage fee is 5.25%. Happy to answer any questions.
I seem to remember this coming through pre-development. This one has like a dog park up there, right? Is that correct?
This, up in the corner here,
Yeah.
Councilman?
Yeah.
This is, right now, the best idea that we have about what they're going to do with this is some kind of quick service restaurant, QSR, kind of like a drive-through. That for coffee or some other quick fast food.
Gotcha. There's no dog park on there at all? I thought there was a dog park.
No. Plenty of people walk their dogs on the property now, I
Yes.
assure you. But no specific plans for a dog park.
Okay.
All right. Great. Thanks.
Thank you,
For that.
Council. Appreciate that.
And since you're,
Go ahead. Sorry, Council President.
oh, I was going to say, if you're still here, I was going to ask for a vote to add to the agenda while you're still here so you could sleep better tonight. But in order to do that, we need a motion to suspend the rules for purposes of adding to tonight's legislative agenda. I've been told by the airport staff that particularly the AT acquisitions is quite eager to get started, and so they're hoping that we could get this approved tonight. But we take a motion to suspend the rules for purposes of adding items to our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, I would vote in favor of suspending the rules if it's solely to add the airport-related items to the agenda.
Okay.
Same.
All right. That's not the motion, so that's an amendment?
Is it, yeah, friendly
Okay.
amendment there?
Okay.
Yeah,
So your amendment is to limit it to airport items?
yes.
And Councilmember Cathcart, you seconded that,
Yes.
right? So is there any discussion on the motion to,
That doesn't,
not the motion, any discussion on the amendment to the, proposed amendment to the motion?
doesn't preclude us from suspending the rules further.
It doesn't.
So,
but it
fine,
would
yeah.
take- Okay. All those in favor of accepting the amendment indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Okay. Now, the motion as amended is to suspend the rules for purposes of adding airport items to tonight's agenda. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, that's added to tonight's agenda.
Thank you, Council. I really appreciate that. It's important for us to move at the speed of the private sector, and that's, again, very much appreciated. I always like to add that the proceeds from these sales go back into capital improvement projects at the airports. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Crowder, and thank you also for the continued collaboration with the city and the airport and your staff. Greatly appreciate that, sir. Thank you. All right, then moving to the consent agenda for the advance briefing of Monday, March 27th. Item 1 is a service level agreement with Spokane Regional Emergency Communications, known as SHREC, regarding emergency communication services for dispatch of fire-related services. Our presenter here to answer any questions council may have is our interim city attorney, Mr. Lyndon Smithson.
Good afternoon, Council. Thank you for having me. And we do have in the audience a representative of SHREC. If we have any further questions, they can answer those. I know we've had some discussions, and there have been some discussions outside. The council did pass an ordinance that states the board must have a party from or a representative of the council on that board in order for us to go ahead and finalize a service level agreement and move over to SHREC for fire dispatch. The county commissioners have not had an opportunity to vote on that. They would need to vote to change the board makeup of SHREC. SHREC's board was set when it was organized in 2019, and so they have not changed it since the original board was established. What they did do in, I believe, November or December is that they voted to basically allocate the two positions for the fire chief and for city administrator and put them on the board. So when they originally established the board, it had the fire chief, police chief, and city administrator on the board, but those seats were basically decommissioned. Yes.
So the commissioners need to vote to make that change. Do we know, is that on their agenda now before them?
They do not meet for another 3 weeks. So I believe that Mr. Perkins has conversations with Mr. Simmons and that they will address that at the next county commissioners hearing, but it sounds like it's 3 weeks away.
Council President, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is it possible, can we defer consent items?
Yeah, we can. And I actually, and Mr. Perkins can address it, I told him that if they would change the language of the agreement to do a date certain by, then we might be able to. Otherwise, I don't think we can legally enact this. But I don't know I don't know if you ever reached Mr. Simmons on that.
I did, and at this point in time, and Council President, you're correct, we did discuss as it relates to adding to the Board of Directors for SHREC a position that would be an advisory role from a member of the City Council. Mr. Simmons, who is my counterpart over at the county, had indicated that supervisors or the commissioners do not have that on their agenda, and as Mr. Smithson indicated, would have that in about 3 weeks. So initially, we had hoped to ask for support conditioned on that information getting inserted into the service level agreement. One of the challenges, I think Mr. Smithson mentioned it, is the fee structure we would be subject to as non-members, and so that was the concern we were trying to address.
Wow.
But my question is, you were going to potentially
yes.
draft something for us that includes that specific language that the agreement to the service level agreement was conditioned on the county commissioners adding the non-voting member, which, by the way, isn't going to be a council member, it's just appointed by council. We're clear that no electeds. So the question is, will you have that language by 6 o'clock?
And we can work on that. I don't remember that request. I apologize.
Well, it wasn't to you.
That's on me, not you.
Fair enough. Okay.
I got you on that one. That's at my doorstep.
Because I'm,
Can I make my motion?
yes, you.
I'm going to make a motion that we defer this for a month.
If I can address that. So SHREC has asked that we pass the service level agreement because for their accounting purposes, they want to know exactly if they're going to be charging an admin fee or if we're going to be paying the stock rate. They're asking us to approve this as soon as possible. I don't know what happens if we defer it for another month. I don't know if they will honor that service level agreement or if we will be asked to pay an
But can you get us the language by 6 o'clock?
Yes,
'Cause
I believe we
I'm
can.
going to suggest we
If
can
we have
do
the
your, yeah,
language,
we can
but
do
if-
your motion at 6 PM if
If we
they
don't
don't.
have the language,
Yeah.
then I'm going to,
Yeah,
make that vote.
Because this has been on our books since
Going
October.
on for too
So
long.
they've had plenty of time to get that language.
Yeah.
But
Okay, can I, what you said, they've had this since October. So now we're at the 11th hour, and they're asking us to wait, or they're asking us not to wait to approve this. They could have done this months ago, so I'm a little puzzled as to why we're being asked to do this, and there's no movement on the other side.
And I would love a guarantee that says they're actually going to follow through, and
I don't think you're going to get that.
I don't think so.
So
mean,
I would like to say there has been movement, because initially it was no and explicitives no of any consideration at all. So the fact that there is a consideration to add a individual appointed by the council is significant movement. And that's the only item in contention right now on the service level agreement. It's that single sentence or two sentence, whatever we decide it is, that's it. So we will have language back to you by 6 p.m. and I would ask for consideration to support that contingent on this language being accepted by the Board of County Commissioners when they consider this in 3 weeks.
And just to remind us that they also added a couple things to our service level agreement that was in the ordinance that council passed back in November or December. So I believe that Shrek and the county commissioners have come to the table and negotiated with us on this.
And I would just add that it's unfortunate that the discussions that we've had with Shrek in the past have not resulted in positive outcomes for everybody. There's been a lack of respect and professional courtesy, and this is frustrating for a lot of us that were there at the beginning when this thing was rolled out with us not knowing about it.
Sure,
So
understood,
there
understood.
are some of us have some pretty firm thoughts on what could have been done better. But
Absolutely.
Thank
No,
you
I
for your
understand
work.
that.
And
I understand that.
I want to just add a glimmer of positivity is that since Chief Rohrbach has taken over as chair of Shrek, I've noticed a very distinct change in tenor in the communications, and we've discussed things, and he's been a part of that movement that Administrator Perkins mentioned. So I want to thank Chief Rohrbach for going to bat for the kind of relationship and collaboration that we all wished we'd had from the beginning, but hopefully we're building now.
Sure, and at the last meeting, we had Representative Shrek. We have a Representative Shrek here today, so they're 100% being forthright. They're coming to answer our questions, and I know Councilmember Cathcart is going to ask me about crime check, and I'm working on that, so we will schedule another meeting so we can discuss that, because I know that's another topic that we need to discuss.
All right, you're released.
If I could just add one more thing, just as it relates to Shrek staff, I want to compliment them. They've been very good working with us as we transitioned our dispatch over. They've been very good at keeping communication with us, what's going on, some of the issues and some of the other nuances of that change. So I want to compliment Shrek staff for that support going forward. Thank you, Mr. Smithson. All right, item 2 on the consent agenda. We have 2 items under 2A, 2B, and 2C. 2A is a updated rebid version of DW Excavating for the,
Before, I'm sorry, I was reminded via text that although we agreed to suspend the rules to add airport items, we actually didn't add them. So I'm looking for a motion to add resolutions 27 and 28, which were the resolutions in support of the 2 properties.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Okay, great. Thanks, Dan.
all right, Mr. Buller, it's all yours.
Item 2A is proposed low bid contract with DW Excavating of Davenport for the Cochrane Basin Stormwater Control Vault project for $7.307 million, to which we propose to set aside a 10% administrative reserve. Project is the brains behind the Cochrane Control Stormwater projects, in that this project controls where all the different flows will be diverted into the various projects that we can see under construction right now. It's located at the southeast corner of TJ Meanock and Northwest Boulevard. 3 bids were received. The low bid was approximately $93,000, or about 1% below engineer's estimate. Most of this work is outside the roadway. The portion that is within TJ Meanock will be constructed at the same time as the current TJ Meanock project. Item 2B, propose low bid contract with DW Excavating, also of Davenport, Washington, for the Marshall Road transmission main for $3.001 million plus tax, to which we propose to set aside a 10% administrative reserve. This project is the first of 3 planned projects to upgrade water transmission capacity within the Highway 195 corridor. Marshall Road is a mostly gravel road parallel to 195 south of Thorpe. 7 bids were received. The low bid was approximately $1.7 million, or about 37% below the engineer's estimate. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought that was the last one, but the one at TJ Meanock, is that the siphon tie-in? Is that what we're talking about right there?
that siphon tie-in is the last TJ Manic project I will bring to you, but that will come in a couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
So no.
Okay. The reason why I asked, sorry, is just those will be done together, correct? To where it's one construction season, we're not disrupting that area for a long time.
Correct.
Yeah.
The TJ Manic siphon is entirely out of the roadway. This project, Cochrane Basin Control, is mostly out of the roadway, and TJ Manic is 100% within the roadway.
Okay.
And it's all this year. Okay, although there's some of it will span into next year, but outside the road. Okay, finally, item 2C is proposed low bid contract with Halmy Construction of Spokane for the SIA transmission main crossing under I-90 for $3.176 million plus tax, to which we propose to set aside a 10% administrative reserve. Project upgrades transmission capacity to the West Plains area south of the freeway by connecting the currently under construction water tower at the airport with the existing booster station just south of the freeway. 4 bids were received. Low bid was approximately $1.8 million, or about 36% under engineer's estimate. That work is expected to start this fall, which is the same, by the way, as the Marshall Road transmission main, both because of pipe order delivery times.
Were either B or C funded through any GFC charges?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, wait, say that question again?
Were they funded? Did any of the funding for the $3 million on either of these projects come from GFCs?
I don't believe the answer. I believe the answer to that is no. Does Lauren have a better answer than that?
I could not tell you the specific dollar, but the Marshall Road transmission main is an increase in new capacity. With theory, portions of that would come from GFC funds.
Okay, but not the SIA transmission line.
SIA is a grant.
You can get back to me.
I'm sorry. The very specifics on where the dollar came from.
No
I'm
worries.
sorry.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And we're looking for a motion to substitute the original contract on 2A with a new one.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, that's substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Buller. Item 3, our presenter is Lauren Searle. He's here to discuss a low bid from Holt Services Incorporated.
Good afternoon, Council. This item is a well feasibility study at Well Electric right now. The intent of that is to drill a production well and some test wells around that at a 450-foot depth so that we can test the effects of us pumping from the aquifer at that level versus getting away from any influences on the river. As well as redundancy in the springtime. Right now, when the river goes up, we have to stop pumping because the river gets higher than our wellheads. So future capacity, seeing if it's feasible for us to drill new well field and get much deeper and get out of the influence of that. This was bid. Holt is the winning bid on that at $3.1 million for those test wells.
Sorry, those test wells, if they end up being good sites, will you then build the structures right there where those wells are, that you just drilled?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I've been very specific. Those need to be at locations I can use that hole again.
Yes, absolutely. And so you have one north of the river, one south of the river, correct?
Correct.
Yes. And then
In the project, it is one production well. It can be north or south.
Okay, that's
so
right.
They'll do some water quality analysis before we decide where to drill the test well.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Searle. Item 4 on the advanced briefing consent agenda for Monday, March 27 is an agreement with CompuNet for Dell PowerShare equipment for the Spokane Police Department. Our presenter is Shauna Ernst.
Good afternoon. This is a purchase of network switches that will allow communication from our digital forensic file server between our lab and the detectives. And the switches also encrypt the traffic to protect that evidence. The cost is just over $66,000. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Ernst. Items 5 and 6. Item 5 is a pre-approval to purchase 4 Ford F-250s or similar and 3 Chevy Tahoe GMC Yukons for the Spokane Fire Department. And item 6 is a 5-year mutual aid agreement between the City of Spokane and Fairchild Air Force Base. Our presenter, who is online, is our Fire Chief, Brian Schaefer.
Good afternoon, Johnny. Good afternoon, Council. This is number 5 is a carryover from 2022 and was briefed in public safety in 2023, essentially giving us the ability, if these vehicles should become available, the option to purchase. And as you mentioned, number 6, again, briefed in public safety, is the updated from Department of Defense, a mutual aid agreement with Fairchild, which we've had for well over 25 years. However, some language on the legal side was needed to firm that up with recent challenges, and that was made in concurrence with city legal and discussed at public safety and comes to you this evening for approval. Any questions for 5 or 6?
Not seeing any. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. Item 7, multifamily housing property tax exemption conditional agreements. 7A with Red Space LLC, 7B, the Garden District Apartments LLC, 7C, Spencer Harrington, and 7D, Willie Wiley LLC. Our presenter is Terry Stripes.
Thank you, sir. Council President, Council, I have 4 projects for you to consider tonight. They are conditioned, so this is pre-construction. There are projects in every council district. Council District 1 has 1 project that is looking at an 8-year tax exemption. Council District 2 has 2 projects looking at both 12-year multifamily tax exemption, and Council 3 has 1 project that is looking for also a 12-year once they finalize. Just to give you a kind of idea, Council District 1, that property is looking at 29 units. Council District 2, the 2 properties are going to be looking at 82 units. And Council District 3, that property is looking at 42 units. All of the details on the projects and the conditional agreements are in your packet. I am assuming you do not need staff at your legislative session, but let me know if you do. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Ms. Stripes.
I just wanted to disclose that Mr. Harrington was a former student of mine a long time ago. So.
Item 8 on the Monday, March 27 advanced briefing agenda under the consent is a 4-year subscription with Lexipol for police policy and training bulletins. Our presenter from the Spokane Police Department is Jackie McConnell.
Good afternoon, Council. So this is a 4-year agreement with Lexipol, who is our current provider for our policy manual. So just looking to go into another 4-year contract with them, and that is within the Sourcewell contract, within the guidelines that we have for the Sourcewell contract. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McConnell. Item 9, contract amendment with McKay Meters to purchase additional meters for parking services. Our presenters are Director of Code Enforcement and Parking Services, Mr. Luis Garcia.
Good afternoon. So this is kind of a continuation of the conversation we had earlier about the makeup of the meter versus kiosk. So in order to accomplish that and ultimately save about $500,000 in capital, we would need to expand our McKay contract in order to buy more of the single and dual device parking meters. Sir?
Will this enable us to fix where if a user makes an error, we still charge them for their ticket?
That is more of a policy question and not a technology issue at that point, because it's going to be looking for, any type of inconsistency that it can. But ultimately, if it's a wrong, a digit or a letter, then that vehicle wouldn't have been able to, been known to have paid for parking. But if they wish to contest that citation, that would be their defense at Muni Court.
Okay.
Sir?
Yes, so 1.8 million, how long will that, by switching out into these new meters, how long will that take for us for that to have been more efficient for us, that we're saving money? How many years will that take for us to have?
So it's essentially the savings immediately because it's a SIP loan that we take out. So if we change the makeup of the meter kiosk, then we wouldn't have to purchase the additional cost of the more expensive device, which would be the kiosk. So it would be immediately, and it would just be that we wouldn't have to be paying back the SIP loan. So the idea is that we already intended to have 3 SIP loans going through for our technology updates. What I'm trying to get to the point is where I don't have to take the 3rd SIP loan out. So it would save us that 3rd draw that we wouldn't have to take out, and ultimately that's good for a struggling special revenue.
Do you have an estimate, though, of what does a dual meter cost, and then what's their revenue production over a year?
Ooh, I don't have the revenue production, but I do have their costs. The cost was actually on part of the contract there, and it's $740 a meter for the single space, based on the quantity that we're looking to purchase. So this would also grant us some efficiencies when we start talking about reservations, because that's always been a challenge, where we would be able to reserve on a space-by-space basis, whereas kiosks are a little bit more difficult because there's nothing to delineate at that point.
How many meters right now? I know some of our meters went out of service because of technology, and so there's just no meters in that. How many spots roughly are those? And will this address this?
That we do. Well, this is trying to contemplate the 3rd phase of it, so it would entail those ones in the outskirts. So basically what we're trying to do is keep the single space meters in the core. So there's some that are dual space that we'll go ahead and switch out for the single space meters, because again, those are the ones that are more likely to be reserved. So they're a lot easier to delineate if we have a point of sale that's delineated that space. Dual spaces will go a little bit further out, and then obviously kiosks is going to be in our peripheries. So if operationally it's easy that way. So this 3rd phase would address the ones that are the stalls that are missing the meters.
Do you know how many are missing currently?
I don't off the top of my head, but I can circle back on you on that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Item 10, consultant agreement with DKS Associates for traffic signal controls. Our presenter is the director of our Streets Division, Mr. Clint Harris.
Good afternoon, Council President and Council. The Street Department is seeking approval to enter into an on-call service with DKS and Associates for supporting traffic signal controls for a cost not to exceed $200,000 annually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Item 11 on the Monday, March 27 advance briefing agenda under consent is a contract amendment with Makers Architecture to evaluate the center and corridor policies in the city's comprehensive plan. Our presenters are Director of Planning, Mr. Spencer Gardner.
Good afternoon, Council President and Council. Some time ago, there was a plan for doing a study of centers and corridors specific to the North Monroe corridor. This is sort of an adjustment to that project to widen the scope a little bit and consider centers and corridors as a whole. So we went out to RFP. We selected Makers Architecture, and this line is just to approve the contract there. A couple of notes. Centers and corridors have been part of our comprehensive plan for about 20 years. We feel it's time to evaluate and consider what aspects of that are working, what aspects are not working. That's something that we will be looking at as part of this planning process. Coming out of the process, we will not necessarily propose specific comp plan amendments or development code changes around our centers and corridors. This is really kind of setting us up for the 2026 periodic update where we would anticipate making some of those changes. We feel like there's some groundwork that we need to lay and some questions we need to answer before we're ready to actually make those updates. So that would be the large portion of this project.
Yeah, just in your, I guess, professional judgment, I mean, do you think that there's a lot of ground that we can make up without achieving real adequate condo reform with regards to centers and corridors?
I mean, I don't think they're intrinsically connected, but I would agree that condo reform is a significant barrier to development just across the city, and especially in those higher density areas like centers and corridors.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. Gardner. Item 12, our interim director of our IT department's a contract with CompuNet. Our presenter is Mike Sloan.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Council President, Council. This item, ITSD is seeking your approval for the second-year contract. And just a brief explanation, this is a little bit different terminology than what we typically bring to you as Cisco SmartNet. Manufacturer Cisco has changed their licensing construct and their new products called the Flex Plan. All this is really our phone system, E911, calling, voicemail. The note that I've always represent to you, the difference from the previous year cost, last year it was $137,000, and that was to true up a schedule. We had a few months that we had to pay in order to have the same terminal date of our Cisco transferred to CompuNet. So that's why this year is less, but it's a contractual amount, and it was just a true-up time. The change to CompuNet is a partner in the region that we switched over from a previous provider. That's why we had to issue a new contract number. So the clarity of that. So seeking your approval for that 1 year. It's year 2 of a 4-year contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Item 13 is a 1-year contract renewal with Intera Incorporated for planning software. Our presenter is Brandon Childs.
Good afternoon. We'd like to renew the Intera software for a total of $67,124. Over the past few years, the software has become invaluable to its users. Our EMS providers and fire crews need the most recent and revealing information available at their fingertips before they arrive. Previously, the information was siloed and in different areas. And Intera merges the information onto a standard platform and integrates with current programs within the city, county, public health, and federal and national programs. Intera contains the city building fire pre-plan system, evacuation plans, event plans, and everything we need to manage an all-risk incident. Everyone from inspectors and prevention, battalion chiefs and ops, and wildland programmers use this daily. Intera connects us to CAD, to the county, to the country through the National Interagency Fire Center for large incident managements, and to the local Department of Natural Resources for field treatments. Any questions?
I see that it says for COVID planning software. Can you explain that to me?
The initial purchase, I believe in 2020, was for COVID use. Since then, we've pivoted to do a broader range of supported
Gotcha.
uses.
Do we use it for COVID at all anymore?
I believe so, yes, still.
Okay. But its sole purpose is not COVID. It gets used for far more things than COVID.
Correct.
Okay. I would suggest that we update the title on this, other than just COVID planning software to, all the different uses that we use it for. Because this to me seems like, well, if we have got a handle on COVID, why are we still paying for COVID stuff? But if it's used for far more things,
correct.
I think that's good. Okay.
Yeah, just to piggyback, same question, but take it one step further. I'm wondering, this is only for a 1 year, is that correct? And so if this is kind of an integral piece of software, I guess why are we not looking at a longer term renewal?
I believe in 2020, when it was initially set up, it was a series of 1-year contracts.
Okay, that's where we're limited to 1 year?
I believe so.
Okay. And is there an expiration to that?
I don't have that information.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Item 14, seeking council's approval to use Community Development Block Grant, home and sales and use tax revenue to fund affordable housing projects. Our presenter from the Community Housing and Human Services Division is Mr. Richard Colton.
Good afternoon. The CHHS Department is seeking council approval to utilize approximately $7.1 million in a combination of CDBG, home, and sales and use tax revenue to fund 9 affordable housing projects made up of new construction, acquisition, conversion, rehabilitation, and preservation. It'll result in 89 new units, and as clarified in committee, that's a net gain of 48 units, as we have to demolish 41 units to make way for the one larger new construction project. Acquisition and conversion of a 59-unit market rate apartment complex, and then rehab and preservation of 7 existing affordable housing projects, which would include about 10 units of transitional housing that would be rehabbed under this package. Are there any questions?
Just one follow-up from the committee. I'm just wondering how many of these projects, if you know, would not be moving forward if not for these dollars? All of them? Any of them?
Pretty much all of them. The 2 larger projects, the acquisition conversion, would not move forward without our investment. Okay. They did receive all of their funding from the state, so we are actually filling a gap on that one. The Housing Authority project has about a $2.5 million gap. They have all the other funding that would not move forward. And then most of the preservation or rehab projects were pretty much 100% in those. So.
Okay, thank you.
On how many of these projects, I can't remember, how many of these projects was like the city, are we first in on any of these with the dollars? Are we first in on any of these projects?
If we were first in on the acquisition conversion project, which leveraged the state dollars.
Was that the Housing Authority one?
No, that's the Take Up the Cause.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Housing Authority had already been approved for the 9% and the trust fund dollars.
That's right.
And then pretty much all of the, like I said, the rehab, we're 98% in. So yes, we're first in, but we're covering most of that cost.
Most of it, okay. Do we have in the future, because I know that it's oftentimes the first in dollars that are the hardest, is that sort of in our plans moving forward, making sure that we can help use these dollars to leverage far more cash in the future rather than us fully funding some projects, which isn't a bad thing, but if we can use it to leverage to get tens of millions of dollars, is that something that we're looking into and implementing?
That'll be part of our strategy going forward to align our NOFAs or RFPs to be the first in the line of going for tax credits or trust funds, so we can use our money to leverage that. So yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And just to clarify, these aren't the contracts. This is just the overall concept, and the contracts will come back to us.
This is to move forward. We, as with most affordable housing projects, a lot of it is legal work because they're loan documents, so it's hard to have contracts pre.
And I'm not expecting. I just want to make sure everyone knows this is coming back to us in the contract. Yeah. Thanks for your work. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Colton. Item 15 is a grant application to receive some federal funding with the U.S. Department of Treasury. And our presenter is Amy Black, and her assistant is Michelle Murray from the Finance Department.
This is just a request to suspend your rules and vote to approve to allow me to apply for a grant from the Department of Transportation to support our CDL compliance efforts.
And it's actually on the agenda straight up, so we don't have to suspend the rules.
Oh.
So you're good, but you already this is what you presented
I did.
this afternoon, so
I did.
you just had to do it twice on the same day.
Yep.
The exception was we let you have a regular agenda on the same day you presented to committee.
Yes, okay.
Not,
Sorry. I'm learning. I'm very.
That's all right. It's all right. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 16A and B, report of the mayor pending 16A, claims and payments of previously approved obligations, including those of Parks and Library, with the dollar amount which will be considered by council during this evening's session. And item 16B, claims and payments of previously approved obligations, including those of Parks and Rec, also will be considered this evening with the amounts indicated on the agenda for consideration by council Item 17, City Council meeting minutes, March 9th and 16, also be considered this evening by the council. That takes us to item 18 on the advanced briefing consent agenda for Monday, March 27. I'll turn back now to our Fire Chief, Brian Schaefer, to discuss the contract with Lexipol to provide policy and procedures management for the Spokane Fire Department.
This was committee regarding the fire department's need to update their policies, procedures, and regulations. The Lexipol was a selected vendor and was the preferred and industry standard through process internally in the fire department that stakeholders were queried. And out of that, sorry, I'm breaking up a little bit, but if you can still hear me.
We can still
Our
hear you.
recommendation is to take advantage, okay, thank you. Our recommendation is to take advantage of the purchase now and be able to save $5,000 or $6,000 at the threshold to request action by the council to move it forward. Any questions?
Not seeing any. Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
And the last two items on the advanced briefing agenda under consent agenda for Monday, March 27. Item 19 is a contract extension with the Salvation Army to extend the Cannon Shelter. And item 20, the authorization to distribute Department of Commerce funds to housing navigators. Our presenter is the Director of Community Housing and Human Services, Jen Saracides.
Hi, good afternoon. So to address the first one, we're requesting to amend the Cannon Shelter contract with the Salvation Army, which terminated on 12/31 of 2022. And we are requesting an extension of the contract through 5/31/2023 at a total of $800,000, which will come from reallocated Department of Commerce Shelter Program grant funding. It is the intention at the end of this for those beds to be absorbed into the tract shelter.
So you said the funding is coming from Commerce
Yes.
for the remainder? So if Cannon were not open, would that funding be able to be used at TRAC or anywhere else?
It can only be used at facilities that had beds that came about on or after January 1st of 2020.
Well, that would be TRAC, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, track would qualify, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any
Thank
other-
you, Ms. Saracides.
Yep. So, and for the second one, we're just requesting permission to disperse funds to housing navigators through the Department of Commerce row funding, housing up to 30 folks in market rate housing.
How long is that? Would they be housed for that price?
So those funds only go right now through June 30th of this year. There is some discussion about whether or not those funds may be allowed to roll over and if additional funds will be available after that point in time.
But it just seems like if only 30 households are served by $506,000, is it a cost reimbursement thing? So if they didn't use,
If they don't use it, then the money will
So
go
it's
back.
reimbursable?
Yes, yep, all of our grants are reimbursed.
and could they serve more than 30 if they had more than 30?
They could, as long as they have the dollars to support that.
Yep.
Yep.
And don't they do the year? They do a full year for somebody?
They do, but in this instance, they are not allowed to pay rent past the fiscal year for the Department of Commerce, which ends June 30th of this year.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is the anticipation that there would be additional funds to continue support past that
Okay.
point in time, but these funds have to be used at this point by June 30th of 2023.
Perfect, thanks.
And not to pester you too much on it, but if they can't spend $500,000 by June, what happens? Does it just go back to the state, or do we?
It does go back to the state, yeah.
Okay.
It would likely stay in the same pot with the row dollars and would be reallocated to other projects that were working on that same activity.
Okay. All right, thank you. So items 18, 19, and 20 for the consent agenda are going to require a suspension of the rules. And I definitely picked up, there's some concern about how much expansion on the agenda, but I'm just wondering, because there's a couple more resolutions on page 10. I'm just wondering if there's any concerns that you have about those resolutions 25 and 26 as well. If we could just do a motion to suspend the rules for purposes of adding 18, 19, 20, and resolutions 25 and 26.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of suspending the rules for that narrow purpose indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Okay, now I'm looking for a motion to add consent items 18, 19, and 20.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of adding those items indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? 18, 19, 20 are added. Continue on.
Thank you, Council President. We now move to special budget ordinances. This is an ordinance request to increase an appropriation from the council out of the Public Safety and Judicial Grants Fund. Our presenter is Jackie McConnell, and this is the need to procure a new restraint system. Ms. McConnell.
Good afternoon again, council. So this is a request for $76,300 to purchase 40 RAP restraint systems, which would come with helmets for each of those and 200 ankle straps. You all had the pleasure of watching the demonstration last time, and so this is just for the hopes of moving forward with this purchase.
I'll just say I was disappointed I didn't get to be demonstrated on, but I'll come out and I want to see what it feels like. So, yeah.
I was going to say, once we get them, actually, we have plenty of systems right now, so if any of you are interested, seriously, we can arrange that with the academy so that you can experience that. So you are welcome to come out to the academy.
Councilmember Bingle, we were disappointed too.
And if you do that, Jackie, could you take a video?
Take pictures, yeah.
Possibly, we'll consider that. Is there any questions on that? Thank you, council.
Thank you, Ms. McConnell. Moving then to resolution approving the settlement of the Gideon case. I think Mr. Smithson has already briefed this, so I just didn't know if there's any other questions or comments the council might have for our city attorney.
This is the person crossing division, right? Yeah. And we're just going a little out of order. We're going to save the GFC stuff for last so that staff can finish testifying if they are.
Thank you, Mr. Smithson. Excellent briefing. Moving then to our Director of Community and Economic Development, supporting the city's grant application to the State of Washington Community Economic Revitalization Board for funding a creative economy hub. Our presenter, who's proudly wearing his San Diego State University lanyard today.
I am quite proud.
I just want to acknowledge Mr. McDonald and San Diego State for making the Final Four. Mr. Steve McDonald.
Yes. If there's any questions, I did give a presentation earlier this afternoon. This is a $50,000 planning grant, and this is for a project that's identified a facility and has a initial business plan, and the $50,000 would go for a consultant that would do an economic feasibility study of that. Any questions?
Aren't you from Los Angeles?
I am, but I went to school at San Diego State
Okay.
undergrad, so yeah.
That counts, thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
McDonald. Thank you, sir. An ordinance related to open forum at Spokane City Council meetings, amending various sections. I believe council's already been briefed on that, sir.
Yeah, and again, this doesn't make any substantive changes. It just references the council rules, so when we change them in the future, we don't have to change the ordinance every time. Yes?
And just to be clear, it doesn't change anything. It just references, okay.
Correct. I'm sure we'll get some testimony on some changes that are requested tonight, but this doesn't change anything. Yeah.
All right, then moving then to first reading ordinances. This is to establish requirements for unallocated reserve balances within the general fund and enacting new sections. Our presenter this afternoon, City Council's Budget Officer, Mr. Matt Boston.
Thanks, Mr. Perkins. So this might be labeled just a little bit incorrectly. It's actually a process to establish budget review. It's changing section 0708 of the Spokane Municipal Code to have a little bit more oversight on the review, the process, the deadlines, and the monitoring. Any questions?
Any comments, Councilmember Cathcart?
Yeah, nope, none
sponsor
for
of
me.
this.
I would just add all in furtherance of just trying to get our budget in order, and hopefully we can get to the point that we can have a supplemental budget this middle of this year. So,
Thank you, Mr. Boston. Moving then, Council President, to special considerations. This is consideration of the council's mayoral veto of the landlord-tenant ordinance.
Yeah, and that'll be on tonight. There's no public testimony on it. But it's coming up.
That then
All right.
takes us back to the two items related to the general facility charges, which is under the emergency ordinance and resolutions.
I'm going to wait for Councilmember Bingle to come back because I know he has some opinions. But yeah,
While we have a quick second, can I request to take 9 and 19 separately on consent at the 6 o'clock?
I want to make that request. Can I make request at 6 if I want to, or do I have to do it now?
on one of these.
If I want to take one separately,
Well, just tell me. And then-
probably number 1.
Okay. Okay. And you said 19?
Yeah.
6, too.
Yeah, I got 6. I went easy on parking at the briefing today. So, yeah. All right, we waited for you, Councilmember Bingle.
Thank you.
We're on to GFC changes from the ordinance that we passed 2 weeks ago, and just as a way of a tee-up. During that conversation, which has been reported back to me, was one of the more constructive conversations I've seen of council. Councilmember Kinnear and I, who sponsored the original, we were persuaded by Councilmember Bingle that we should consider an interim lower amount based on 66% of the construction cost index. And we've had some disagreement over how long that should be interim and a few things, and then we've added in, or we potentially will add in some more description on waivers for affordable housing that he also suggested. So I just wanted to make it clear that that number and that idea of the interim is definitely Councilmember Bingle's proposal. It was persuaded. We did not reach agreement on all of the things between us, and this is the one that's was filed by Councilmember Kinnear and I a week and a half ago or so, and that's the one on, but it is subject to potential substitution or amendment, and I think you have a motion.
Yeah, I would motion to submit my ordinance in place of this one.
Okay, so it's motion to substitute?
Yeah, I circulated earlier today.
Is there a second?
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
If I would like this motion entertained at the 6 o'clock hour instead of now, can I let this die and then bring it back? I don't think we should be doing this discussion right now. I think it should be at 6 o'clock.
Well, you could also bring it, so it doesn't die forever if it fails at this. Okay. So it's not like a ordinance that once it's voted, then it has to start over. So there's nothing that precludes you from making it again.
I'll make the second.
Okay.
So, wait,
You're seconding now.
you're seconding that? So you're not going to wait till 6?
No, but he can if it fails.
Oh,
But
I
He's
see.
seconding
Okay,
the
okay,
motion.
okay, got it.
Is there any discussion on the motion to substitute? Councilmember Bingle.
I just want to highlight some of the differences and why I'm bringing a full substitution. My whole reason for the substitution is that there were a lot of substantial changes made in this ordinance, and in a way that we did not get an opportunity to discuss the GFCs in the way that we did the traffic impact fees. There are a lot of debatable policy decisions that have been made in the ordinance that we passed, and even in the updated version from Council President and Councilwoman Kinnear. The purpose of my version is to largely keep intact what we have, including the waiver area. One of the things that I have done when it comes to the waiver area, as opposed to keeping the current CIA, we changed it to the Spokane Target Investment Area, which is more in line with city's policies, which is actually focused and targeted based on census data. These are neighborhoods and zip codes that have higher poverty rates, lower income rates, and so these are distressed census tracts that could use a lot of investment. And that incentive area has been used historically by people to invest in those areas, layered on top of other different incentives. And so I think it's important that we keep it in there until we have fully finished this discussion that needs to happen. One of the other big differences is my ordinance would go into play until the end of next year as opposed to the end of this year, which again would allow for us to have a substantial amount of discussion on these policies, would give us time for potentially for an economic impact study, for Planning Commission to be able to thoroughly review it and give us their feedback. And for us to actually do, again, a good amount of community engagement. One of the other differences is, and I know that we have an amendment that will be coming, but I added it an MFTE-style affordability citywide in the same way that we incentivize. We had 153 units that are coming forward with MFTE. If they meet those same exact requirements, this policy is already in place. If they meet those same exact requirements, then those GFCs are waived at the end of their tenure if they've kept in good standing. They are deferred until they fulfill, and then they are waived. One of the other differences is that I waived the GFC fees for all ADUs citywide, not just within a half mile of centers and corridors. So all ADUs citywide are exempted. And there might be one or two smaller things in there, but realistically, all of these things are really good policy debates that should be had before we make substantive changes. Mine tries to acknowledge the fact that let's keep these things in place and then move on from there. So that's I think the big differences.
All right, thanks. Councilmember Kinnear.
My question to you then is, who pays?
And my answer is the same. Without housing, without anything, currently we're paying just in a different way. You might say, well, it's not on their bill, but sure, it's on their rent bill because we don't have enough supply. The housing is, the demand for the housing is obviously significantly higher. We've been watching year after year after year as housing is obviously skyrocketing, which means rent is. And so currently people are paying because we have a lack of housing.
And that's true. People who own their homes, though, are still paying too. So if you own your home, you're 43% approximately people rent, the rest own their home. They're going to be paying too. And so I've been told that the utility department doesn't want to put any more burden on the ratepayers, so things just won't get built.
But even the current homeowners are still paying because with a lack of supply, as we're watching the housing crisis, as we're watching housing numbers balloon, their tax bills are going up significantly. They're also paying.
There's a lot of things around a tax bill, reasons why they go up, and it's...
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Largely driven by market, though, right?
No, not necessarily.
Well, the tax assessed value is based on, what the worth
And
of
all
the
the
property
levies
is.
and so forth that voters pass.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about market. There's a number of things in your tax bill that...
Your tax assessed value, though, right?
Yes.
Not what you're paying in taxes, but your
Yes,
tax
yes,
assessed
yes.
value. Yes.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, so the question is who pays, and I'll tell you, it's working families, that's who's paying. They're paying right now, they'll continue to pay. In fact, if this were to remain in place, it's pretty frightening. I walked through our development third floor today, and saw a couple of guys that I knew who were in there talking about some units they're trying to get built, and they're vested, so they're going to avoid some of this. If they weren't vested, by 1 week, they would have had an increase of $10,000 per unit. So it's the working families who are trying to find an apartment and a place to live, an affordable place to live. They're the ones paying, and they're paying through the nose, and they'll be paying through the nose as long as we make it harder and harder to build more housing. So I support Councilmember Bingle's proposed substitute. It's modest. It gets us going in the right direction. It allows time for thoughtful contemplation of how we should address these things. Gives us time for fixing the many technical errors that are still riddled throughout this thing, the many legal questions that sit out there about this thing. It gives us time. And I've already seen 6 projects pulled this last week. I don't want to see any more.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I want to go back to when we talked about compromising and why we deferred this in the first place. And I believe that night when we talked about it, we talked about deferring to change the rates and allowing a year to have a discussion around the various elements that you talked about, which are great to have more discussion around them. I absolutely agree there could be more discussion. But when I talked about agreeing to defer, I was talking about the rates with the underlying policy around it. So I don't see a return of the compromise, and that's concerning to me. It's concerning to me about what the vote will be tonight. And I think if we don't come to a compromise today, that it could go back up to the full rates that were passed last week.
That's your choice.
It's your choice too to vote for a rate of 66%.
With bad policy.
It's a compromise.
It's not.
Councilmember Bingle.
Yeah, quickly, we didn't defer, we did pass, and then we are revisiting, so it wasn't a deferral. We passed what happened. But I hear what you're saying, and realistically, I have asked for a number of things in mind, to leave them as is, have the discussions, and then go forward. The one thing that this ordinance took into account was my rate structure. Everything else is there. And so when you're talking compromise, if we met halfway, maybe it would be a compromise, but it's not. It's our way plus, okay, well, Bingle was pretty right on this rate structure and we're hearing about it, so I guess we'll put that in there. But everything else, you know what? No, that doesn't matter. We're gonna do this. If we were meeting 50-50, I could feel good about voting for something tonight, but we're not meeting 50-50. And again, when it comes to compromise, one of the things I did add in additionally on top of some of the other things I did was when we were talking about affordability citywide, which Councilwoman Stratton brought up. So that's when I approached Spencer and Steve and some others and said, hey, can we get an MFTE style waiver citywide for people doing projects that include affordability? And so there actually has been good discussions. If you're talking about compromise, sure, I guess you could say this is compromise. But if you're talking about meeting halfway, we're not even close.
Councilmember Zapon.
So would you say that the rates you're proposing, the 66%, is halfway between what Councilmember Beggs and Kinnear proposed?
Meeting halfway on the rates?
From
no,
where
they
it was?
adopted my rates.
Well, I'm just saying, but from what the rates were to what they proposed, is 66% halfway?
No.
It's more than halfway?
It is.
Okay.
Okay, on one issue, you met me where I was making my proposal. But in the substantive policy, in the entire scope of it, it's an inch versus me going 10 feet. You know what I mean? It's again, it's not close to talk about meeting halfway.
Any other discussion?
I just hope that I get worried because I was not really interested in deferring for those reasons. I was more interested in reconsidering, let me get correct, reconsidering to find something that we could agree upon, and it's concerning to me that we're not. So I don't really know why I would support that if you're not willing to also support it.
Again, I have brought substantive policy discussions to the table, and when it's talking about meeting halfway, again, we are just not even close. And again, other things that I've asked for that are backed up by Planning Commission and others, more than 9 months. We are not there. Talking to folks to be able to get actual changes in there when you're talking about why the incentive area exists in the first place versus why are we removing it in its entirety. These are all things that should be discussed. But when you talk about meeting halfway, I think you're misleading a lot of folks by saying we are compromising, because I actually don't see compromise there. What you did, okay, what happened in this one is you realized those rates were far too much. The backlash happened. 2,000 units got removed, and you said, okay, well, we can't destroy housing. We can't let housing die in the city of Spokane, so let's do something for 9 months. And so again, when you say compromise, I don't really see, again, a meeting in the middle. I see a small step. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that you adopted my 66% proposal, but this is not, I think, the definition of compromise.
Just a point of clarification.
Yes.
The 2,000 units was after the vote, so it wasn't before that we had agreed to compromise and change it and reconsider. So it was not in backlash to that. It was actually in the discussion that we wanted to look forward to it. So it was not in backlash.
I think it's directly related. I think it came out after that policy
All right,
was passed.
why don't you guys hash that out later?
Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
I know. Any other discussion on the motion to substitute? Okay, all those in favor of substituting Councilmember Bingle's version, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Nay. All right, that does not pass. Is there someone willing to make a motion to substitute the version I circulated today?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion about that version, which essentially includes the language on MFTEs and parking lot conversions and federal and state programs and permanently affordable by deed restriction proposals? All those in favor of substituting that version indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Nay.
2 nays. Any abstentions? All right, that is substituted. And I sent you that version, Ms. Farnsworth. I think you got it. All right, we are going to go to an executive session to talk about labor negotiations. 5:15. We are done with executive session, and we're not taking any further action, so we're adjourned for our briefing session. We'll see you at 6 p.m. Hello.